Cities, including Madison, are taking closer looks at their police department budgets, but the Madison PD viewed a six-figure item as a must-have in 2021.
Gabriella Becerra explains how a new partnership using that funding will help employees identify stress and ways to alleviate it.
Well, this program was originally supposed to start last year, but the pandemic forced MPD to cut its funding. So when it came time to negotiate for the budget this year, the department decided to make mental health days a priority again.
There's an obvious takeaway to 2020 for interim police chief Vic Wall.
It certainly has made an already difficult job more difficult.
That's why Madison Police are investing $150,000 into making sure that stress doesn't take too heavy of a toll on its officers.
Not only does that impact the officers and sort of their long-term life, but it can impact the community because it impacts how they do their jobs.
All employees, both civilian and sworn, are required to take a mental health day this year and spend 1 hour of that day getting a wellness check.
Sometimes there's stigma that might be associated with reaching out for help or asking for support. And so we want to remove that and just basically say, everybody's doing this.
MPD is partnering with Westside Psychotherapy, where owner Sandra Oikster says they aim to eliminate those stigmas.
Every occupation, every life has challenges for mental health. And our hope is to be able to remove the barriers that might exist to employees of, in law enforcement to seeking assistance if they need it.
All conversations are kept confidential, and employees can talk about whatever they choose. But Oikster says a wellness check usually identifies stressors and ways to relieve them.
In this line of work, we're talking about vicarious trauma. We're talking about the stress of always being in an alert state, hypervigilance. We're talking about shift work, so there's sleep disruptions. We're talking about interpersonal issues in the workforce.
After 30 years in his field, Wall says he's seen that stress change people and hopes this face-to-face connection might help his department.
Maybe some of those folks can recognize some issues and recognize ways to avoid that happening.
Wall says they have tried other methods like peer mediation in the past, but hopes this might be a little more proactive. MPD did try this program with a smaller number of people and says they received positive feedback.